To my people, it's the Great Destroyer.
I know it, but there's like hundreds of people that watch it.
I know, but
iTunes has thousands, but there's still hundreds.
So the numbers don't add up.
Well, hundreds
You're fake news. You're just fake news.
Hey, listen, 445 have watched Southern Justin and these guys eat pizza in Mazio.
So there you go. that firms up Pat's point solidly.
Okay, we can start it now.
Well, no, we can't.
Why?
Because you got to do the...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Here is your KCJJ forecast today. It'll be partly cloudy. Our high right around 42 this afternoon. The wind out of the northwest at about 10 to 20, decreasing to 5 to 15 here this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear, 25 for a low. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, becoming mostly cloudy late tomorrow. Our high near 41, and then we could see a little light snow on Thursday night into Friday. By Friday, our high only 35. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Currently, it's 32.
Weather brought to you by the Westport Touchless Auto Washes at Walmart in Iowa City, Coralville's High V. AllHawkeyes.com brought to you by Dirk Sterner Taxidermy. Big Dog TV and Internet, serving all of eastern Iowa with Dish, DirecTV, Internet, and more. Don't call the 800 number. Call Kevin and his crew. Call local. Call Big Dog at 338-6600. Zephyr Printing and Design and Imprinted Ink on the Pet Mall. Active Endeavors, 5 floors of it in downtown Iowa City. Supple's Flowers, the home of 1-800-800-ROSE. Supple Siding and Remodeling, GT Carr and his crew. Mike's Lock and E-Keys for cars. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. And Premier Automotive in North Liberty. Hit a deer, call Premier. From allhawkeyes.com, joining Thomas Michael Suter, it's Pat Harty.
Morning, Pat.
Good morning.
How are you?
Not bad. Do we have Quinn on yet?
No.
Okay.
Were you up all night watching the election returns?
I watched till about 1:30 or 2.
Oh, wow, you did bad. I watched till about 10:30.
Yeah, I was up later than I wanted to be, and drank more beer than I wanted to drink. Which, I mean, I'm not saying it was like Animal House. Instead of having 1 or 2, I think I had 4 during it, and that's just, for a Tuesday night and having to get up somewhat early to come here.
Well, if you're watching, 5 hours of election returns.
It was just interesting watching the whole thing. And it went the way not that we're going to talk politics, because I do have people tell me they hate it when we talk. I will say, though, all it did was reaffirm we are one divided nation.
We are, and
I mean, we always are, but I don't remember it ever being this big of a divide.
And the one thing that made me happy, and yes, I tend Democratic, but our system of government doesn't work when one party has control of everything.
We need to have checks and balances.
We do.
And we do. And that's what's going to happen. And I saw he came out firing today. I mean, I wish he wouldn't do that, but
wouldn't it have been much better if he had come out and said, we welcome the new people in Congress and in the Senate, and I look forward to working across the aisle with these folks.
That's what you would hope.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you would like to see.
Okay, I'm naive.
So you just tried him?
Yeah, I tried him twice.
Okay, that's weird. Because,
we'll try later.
I mean,
I'll try.
Okay.
I'll keep trying.
Well,
I left my number.
Because I didn't give them our number when I was talking to them. I mean, I just, because Quinn's in town. He was at Kirk's press conference yesterday. He's in town promoting the book, and we've had him on. I just told him he could come back on because he's got a couple signings, I think, this weekend, and what have you.
Well, I'm all for it.
So I told him we're on from 9 to 10:30. So now that he's got the number, so if he calls in, we'll talk to him about that. Because
that'd be great.
I saw a photo of Quinn with Chuck Long, Dwight Sister,
I saw that
and
too.
Jim Morrow, and who I grew up with and went to high school with. That was kind of neat. So yeah, Quinn's getting a chance to come back here and kind of revisit a lot of his
peeps.
Yep, and promote a book that's Bryant Acres is, I believe that's what it's called, right? I don't want
yeah. Uh-huh.
And it's all the proceeds go into Alzheimer's research, and so yeah, if he calls in, we'll talk to him about that. And because it was fun when we had him on, I enjoyed it the stuff with his mom's book is, of course, great. I enjoyed talking to him about football because, I mean, I forgot that he played 12 years in the NFL. I mean,
I think the thing I enjoy most about our discussions here is when we get a chance to talk to all the great Hawkeyes. And I think that is that's way cool, and I think people like that too.
Yeah, no, I think they do too. And like I remember when we had Brett Bielema on, and he was done.
I was blown away.
I was blown away by that interview. But Brett's a good guy, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. He's not going to be an assistant, whatever he is right now at New England. To me, that's just a gap fill, and to learn around Belichick and what have you. But I still think.
I got him.
You got Quinn on? I still think Brett may be coaching next year. Hey, good morning, Quinn. How you doing?
Morning, Quinn.
Morning. How you doing?
Good. It's Pat, and we got Tom and Captain Steve here. And, hey, I saw that tweet. So you already the picture of you and Chuck and Dwight and Jimmy. Where was that? Were you in Des Moines or was that up here?
Yeah, we were at Des Moines. Was it the Angry Goat?
Okay. I've heard.
Yeah, man, what a fun night that was. Man, we laughed for about 2 hours.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's what's so nice about this trip. And we had you on just recently, but let's kind of revisit everything with just kind of explain to our listeners and what have you why you're here, and to promote your mom's book and what have you, and what the proceeds do. Kind of update our listeners.
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, for me, this is my home. This is where I grew up. This is where I went from boy to man. Mm-hmm. Playing football at the University of Iowa, and just having the greatest experience here. So my plan was to come back and to promote my mom's book. And let me back up a little bit, and then I'll tell you about my trip.
Sure.
But my mom was this amazing woman. When I was a kid, my father left when I was 12. He didn't leave us with anything. And my mom, she was a housewife. She rolled up her sleeves. She went back to school, and she got her BA, her master's, and her PhD. And she became a psychologist and had this amazing, practice. And that really showed me that if you really want something in life, you have to roll up your sleeves and go get it. Mm-hmm. So she was my role model. She was this amazing woman. Anyway, so she wrote this amazing book about our family history. It's about my great-grandfather, 7 generations removed. And he was the man, his name was Sherrod Bryant. Mm-hmm. And at the height of slavery in the antebellum South, he was a free man of color, and he sold himself into indentured servitude, and then he went on to become one of the wealthiest landowners of the time, which is an impossible feat. So like my mom, he did these things even though the odds were stacked against him. And so she wrote this book, but unfortunately she was diagnosed with and passed away from Alzheimer's in 2013. And before she passed away, she asked me if I would have her book published because she couldn't do it anymore. So that's exactly what I did. I had the book published, and all the proceeds that I'm raising, I'm giving back to Alzheimer's and Alzheimer's research. And it's been kind of overwhelming because I didn't know that I would be so passionate about this. And it's just been an amazing thing. And to be able to come back to Iowa and the University of Iowa, and I've been in Des Moines. I had a book signing in Des Moines. Mm-hmm. On Monday, last night, I was at the Black and Gold shop in Coralville by Iowa City. Now I'm back in Des Moines. I have a book signing tonight at West End Salvage on 29th Street here in Des Moines. I'm going to Waterloo tomorrow. It's just been amazing. And, Courtney Green from the Alzheimer's Association of Iowa she set up all these events for me, and it's just been phenomenal. And the turnout and the support, and, my heart's full. It's just been amazing.
Well, it's a really neat thing what you're doing. I mean, your mom was a fascinating person from just everything you've said, and it is, you're right, though. You came out here from New York, and you became a man out here. You became a really good football player, and football did a lot of good things for you. No, it's a really neat story, Quinn, and I mean, and it was neat seeing you at the press. I mean, what was that like being at the press conference yesterday? I mean, Kirk. I mean, did you know? I mean, Kirk was the offensive line coach when you were. How much interaction did you have with Kirk Ferentz when you were a player?
I'll tell you what. And I was thinking about this morning. I've known Kirk since I was 18 years old, and he was a pretty young coach back then. And I look at him as one of my mentors and my role models. Just the man that he is, the things that he's done for the community, the way he approaches his coaching and life, being a Hayden Fry disciple. And, just a quick side note, all of the players, former players and coaches under Coach Fry, look at what they've accomplished, for the game of football, in the NCAA. But anyway, he's just a phenomenal man, and I consider him a good friend. And to be there yesterday, and during his press conference, he even mentioned me in my book signing.
I knew he would.
Quinn early, so that's the kind of selfless thing, and I wasn't expecting that. And it was just amazing. And he came over, and we gave each other a big hug. And I'm going to go visit with him a little bit before their game on Saturday. And, I'm going to be at the game, and hopefully I can bring some good vibes and help him to get a win this week.
We can use some good vibes, Quinn.
I agree. But yeah, they could also use a quick start, but we'll get into that. Quinn, I wanted to ask you, how much interest, I don't know if interest is the right word, but research have you done on Alzheimer's, just because of the way it's touched your life? And if you have, from what you've researched or been told, are they making a lot of progress with treating it? From what you can tell?
They're starting to. There's a couple of doctors that have made some strides. A lot of it right now comes down to diet and living healthy, right, as we get older. And the numbers are staggering. There's 5.7 million Americans living with Alzheimer's right now, and 1 in 10 will have the disease at age 65, 1 in 5 at age 75, and into your 80s, it's 1 in 3. And 1 in 3 elderly will pass away with some sort of dementia and Alzheimer's. So, it's staggering, and it's amazing how many people I talk to. They come to my book signings, and they'll say, my mother had it, or my father, my husband's father had it. Just so many people have been touched by this horrible disease. And, the brain is just a complex organism.
Sure.
We don't know that much about it, but there's research being done every day. And I actually started a foundation, and we're going to, it's called the Ann Early Intervention Foundation, and we're going to raise as much money as possible to try to fund research to help this disease. And, I've raised about $15,000 and counting for the
Excellent
Alzheimer's Association.
Well, that's great.
Both here and in San Diego. And, and I just started in September, and, my goal is just to raise as much money as possible for this disease. Also, I wanted to let everybody know that you can order my book at BryantAkers.com, and all of the proceeds from the purchase of the book, go to Alzheimer's research. So BryantAkers.com, it will really help out. And so my goal is 2 things: is just to live my mom's dream for her and get that book out there and tell this great American story, and then also to raise as much money as I can so that we can, eradicate this horrible disease.
Quinn, I have a question. Now, when I was growing up, which was a few years back, Alzheimer's was unheard of. When I was growing up, people were either they were senile, or even dementia was barely a term. When was the actual disease Alzheimer's discovered, or when was it called that? Do you know that?
Wow, that's a great question. That's a really good question, and that's something I'm going to have to look into too. But I think I would say I started hearing the term and people being diagnosed probably in the late 90s. And the reason I heard about that was because my grandmother, my mom's mom, had dementia. So I heard about dementia in the late 90s. And then in the probably early to mid-2000s, I started hearing about Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. And, we used to joke, right? We called it old-timers.
Right.
And that's when I first heard about it. But, I think that a lot of people, a lot of these diseases get a lot of attention, cancer, and rightly so. Mm-hmm. The different cancers and, diabetes and, these things that can sometimes be terminal, but not that much is known about Alzheimer's, because I think that, in our culture sometimes, old people can be kind of throwaway.
Absolutely.
And, and it's kind of like, oh, they're just old, they're going to be gone. Yep. But when it hits your family and it's your mom and your dad and your father, then you really realize, because now all of a sudden you're thrust into this caregiver's role. And I know with me, you know, it was almost like when my mom was diagnosed, she was this amazingly smart woman, and I'd go to her for advice, and now all of a sudden I'm her caregiver, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to turn. And that's why I'm so involved with the Alzheimer's Association, because they have resources. So I encourage people who are now going through this for the first time to reach out to them and just learn about it and learn how to deal with your loved one and all that stuff, you know. But, yeah, it's just it's crazy how many people it affects.
I'm going to be 72 and or 70.
70 also.
Yeah, also. And I would rather, and I've had cancer, I would rather have cancer or anything rather than Alzheimer's. That, to me, is just the worst. I'd rather be taken by another disease than my Alzheimer's.
It is. It's a really hard thing. And as being a caregiver, it's a hard thing to watch and go through your loved one with.
Quinn, do you mind me asking how old your mom was when she was diagnosed?
She was diagnosed at 71 years old, but she was kind of, you know, far gone at that point. So what that means is that she had it for a while.
In her 60s.
And now, so now it makes sense because, you know, we'd have conversations or, you know, she would ask funny questions, and I'd be like, Mom, what are you talking about? You know,
So, Quinn, when did you start noticing that I'll use an old-fashioned term because I don't have a better one. When did you notice that your mother was slipping? When did you first notice?
Probably in her mid-60s.
Okay, wow.
And I didn't, you know, but I didn't even, you know, associate it with that.
Sure, sure.
And then, you know, when things were happening to her, you know, she would tell her, you know, her family members said, you know, don't tell the kids, you know, and me and my brothers, you know. And so it just happened all of a sudden. I got a call, and I went up there to see her, and, you know, she wasn't really making any sense. And I was, you know, now all of a sudden, you know, it was like somebody put a cinder block in my arms and pushed me into the river. I didn't know what do I do with that?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
So it was just a horrible thing. And, you know, and she passed away just shy of her 76th birthday. So she was young. She was a young woman. And, you know, and then you have a sense of guilt. You know, she lived with me for a little while, and, you know, 3 a.m, she's getting dressed, and she's going home to, you know, Long Island, New York in 1967. And I'm going, Mom, where are you going? You know, so, you know, then I had to place her in a facility. It was a great facility, but I feel guilty. It's like I put my mom in this place.
But, you know, nobody is prepared for that. You know, unless you're a professional, you're not prepared for that kind of situation.
And sometimes it's unavoidable. You do
the best
that you can.
I'll
tell you what, Quinn, she's looking down, and she has got to be very proud of what you're doing, because, the only way we're going to beat diseases like this is to do what you're doing. I mean, unfortunately, everything takes money. I mean, don't you wish we could?
No, it takes a lot of money.
It just takes a lot of money, but it also takes awareness, because you can't raise money without raising awareness, and that's what you're doing, and I think it's great, and it's just, it's neat to have you back here, too, because, like you said, this was such a big part of your life. And when we had you on the first time, when you got acquainted with Iowa during the recruiting process, you didn't know anything about it, right? And then your mom was cool with you leaving the East Coast to come. She didn't have a problem with that, right?
No, my mom was so supportive. She was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Okay." You know, and there were coaches coming to our house to visit, and she'd cook them dinner, and we just kind of hung out. And, you know, I look back on it now, and she was just amazing with it, and she was my biggest fan. And she was listen, if I played Tiddlywinks and I had the national Tiddlywink competition coming up, boy, she was right there in the front row, you know, cheering me on, you know, and she came to every game, and I'm talking high school, college, in the pros, whatever team I was playing for, she was there, and she was my biggest fan and my biggest cheer, you know. So the story is, the first time I ever played Pop Warner, I was 8 years old, and I caught a kickoff, and I broke through, and I'm running down the sideline, and, you know, out of my side of my eye, I could see my mom running down the sideline next to me, and she beat me she's full sprint, and she beat me to the end zone, and when I got down there, she picked me up, and, you know, my teammates, I wish somebody had an iPhone back then, because she was throwing me up in the air, and I was so embarrassed, and I was like, and I told her, and after the game, I said, "Don't ever do that again," you know.
Well, she did it out of love.
She did it out of love, and she was so, you know, she was my biggest fan, you know, and I can feel her with me, you know, every day when I do this stuff, you know?
I love the fact that she beat you down the field.
Well, maybe
great.
we know where you got your athleticism from, because I mean, I should remind our listeners. I mean, Quinn, in addition to being an All Big Ten receiver, I mean, you were pretty good. I mean, if you would have just focused on track, how good do you think you could have become in the long jump?
Yeah, I think I could have been pretty good. You know, I was a state long jump champion in high school. I was a 50-foot long jump triple jumper, and you know, I was a pretty good sprinter. But if I would have worked on it and focused on that, you know, I think I could have done really well with it. You know, when I ran track at Iowa, you know, I would play the season, and then I would maybe do one track meet, and then we'd be into the, you know, the Big Ten championships. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to win the Big Ten long jump championship twice. And, you know, it was the same thing with outdoors. You know, I would run, you know, work out for a little bit, and then, you know, I did pretty well. And I think I could have taken it pretty far, but I was just appreciative of the fact that Coach Fry was willing to let me do both sports, and I just had such a phenomenal experience here.
So what was your best long jump?
Oh, God, I can't remember.
But you were above 26, 25 feet. You were in that area, right?
Yeah, I was in that area for sure. I can't remember the exact distance, but I was in that area. And, again, you know, it was just a lot of fun. Made a lot of great friends and got to travel a little bit doing track also. And, you know, and that's something that, you know, a lot of kids don't get to play, you know, two sports in college, let alone one. So I'm super appreciative of it. And, you know, I'll tell you a story. So yesterday when I was driving to Iowa City and I came up, you know, got off the 80 and I was coming around up the hill past the basketball arena, I got butterflies on my stomach. Like I have a game this weekend. And I haven't had that in years.
Because that's the route you guys used to take from the bus, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. And it was just, you know, so just to be back, you know, it's so exciting for me. I can't wait for the game on Saturday, and it's just awesome. And thank you guys for having me on your show.
Oh, no, Quinn, it's a joy for us, too. And it's all for a great cause, but it's fun talking to a great Hawkeye, too, because, you know, I was thinking sports, I mean, the fact that you're Quinn Early helps you with this cause because you are somebody. I mean, what you did here as a Hawkeye has kind of put you in a situation where you can really do this stuff for your mom. And have you ever thought about that? How sports is kind of, I mean, we could all try to do what you're doing, but you've got kind of this status because of playing as a Hawkeye and
in
the
pros.
And in the pros. I mean, it's really, sports has really helped your life in that way.
It really has, you know, and so it's almost as if I was meant to do all of these things so that I could do this for my mom, like full circle, you know?
Seems fair.
It's so much for me my whole life, and, you know, I feel her with me every day, and, you know, it's just, I never knew I could be so passionate about something, but this is probably the greatest thing I've ever done. And I'm so thankful and appreciative, and, you know, I just want to do as much as I can to, you know, to try to fulfill her legacy.
Okay, so Quinn, tell our listeners again, what can they do to help you out here?
Well, you can go to my website is bryantacres.com, and if you order the book, then the proceeds from that will go to Alzheimer's and Alzheimer's research, and plus it's just a phenomenal read. And then if you want to donate to my nonprofit organization, and you can get a tax write-off, that is the Ann Early Intervention Foundation. There's a button on there. I mean, whether it's $5, $10, whatever you can give, that's going to help raise money for Alzheimer's research. And in 2019, I'm going to do as many Alzheimer's walks and raise as much money as I can. So any donation that people can give would be phenomenal and much appreciated.
And just for clarification, Bryant Acres, it's as in the name, A-K-E-R-S, and not land division, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then it's Bryant with
A-C-E-R-S.
Yeah, and then Bryant with a T, Bryant. And then is Ann with an E, or is it A-N-N?
A-N-N Intervention.
Okay.
Foundation.
Okay, great. Well, Quinn, this was a joy again. We appreciate it, and we'll see you on Saturday too. It's a big week for you. Oh, and yeah, give you're going to be in Waterloo tomorrow. You said give that one more time too, just for.
Yep, I'm going to be at the UniQ, the UNI, the then dash CUE, I believe.
Okay.
They call it UniQ.
Okay.
And that's tomorrow evening. I believe that's from, I want to say 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
So I'll be there signing books. If you don't have one, well, I'll have some books there. We just ask for a donation, towards Alzheimer's. And, 100% of the money that I'm raising this week is going to the Alzheimer's Association Iowa chapter. So I'm trying to raise money for, Alzheimer's here in this state. And, I'm going to be back a few times. If you can't make it out, I'll be back in the spring. And I have some big things planned for 2019. And like I said, this is my home, so I'm going to raise as much money I can right here in the state of Iowa.
Well, that is great. And anything we can do to help, just let us know. Keep us posted on everything. And enjoy your time here, Quinn. We appreciate your time today.
I sure appreciate it. Again, thanks for having me.
All right.
And, you guys have a great day.
All right.
Thanks so much, Quinn.
Wow, that's
it's an amazing guy.
I mean, I was sitting here, and not to point out that you guys are in your shit, but I mean, his mom was like your age when.
Yeah, I'm 66 exactly.
And she was at your age. It was over. I mean, it's sad. It really is.
No, it's I
don't really. I mean, I do look at you,
but it is really scary. And when you get older anyway, and I found myself, I don't remember names like I used to.
Well,
you never have.
I've been like that.
No, I never have. And I have to keep reminding myself.
My dad was the same way, but never got diagnosed with any. But he couldn't remember who I was. 10 times a day.
You're stuck in my mind.
Yeah, no, he'd be. I mean, my dad was horrible with
every first and the 15th.
And I've always been great with names and faces and stuff, but
no, I've got a thing called face blindness. I don't recognize face. I don't. If I don't see somebody every day
or
anything,
an album, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, this is Pat Harty to my right.
Yeah. But I mean, if I don't deal with people all the time, I don't remember who they are. I just don't. I don't recognize. I've had that all my freaking.
I'm really bad
life.
with names. My dad was bad with names, but acted like he wasn't. And then if he butchered your name, it was just up to you to just adjust. I mean, like there was this time I had a buddy, Bryce Miller, when he came to when he worked with me at the Press Citizen, we stayed at my parents' house in Johnston the night before the Iowa State game. We were both working at the Press Citizen, and Bryce had dinner with us, and we were pulling out of the driveway that morning to go to Ames, and he looks out, "Hey, thanks a lot, Mr. Harty." And my dad looks out, "Yeah, I'll see you later, Chris." Just said it with all the confidence in the world. Called Brad. That's how I get sort of, because all that joking around with those singers who I can't remember their names right now, some of that's for fun, but some of that's me too.
Listen, my dad had a serious stroke in his 70s, and I was in the room at the hospital. And when you have a stroke, most people, when they have a stroke, they swear. I mean, they can always swear.
You can't swear right now.
And,
If you had a stroke right now, you couldn't swear because we're on YouTube.
Yeah. So,
I think you can swear. You just can't play music.
He was just swearing up a storm in the room, and I said, "So this hasn't really affected you, Dad?" And he started laughing.
Secret agent. Man.
I hate Johnny Rivers.
It's his birthday, though. It seriously is his birthday, and I think it's Joni Mitchell's birthday.
Yes, it is.
So do we have us a phone call here?
I believe we do.
Oh, is this Money?
Yeah, it's Money. Hi. Hello.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
How you doing, Money?
Now I would be checking my phone.
Corey's here for Wells Fargo Advisors with the markets.
Thanks, guys. Stocks finished higher on Tuesday. The Dow added 173 points to 25,635. The S&P 500 climbed 17 points to 2755, and the Nasdaq gained 47 points to 7375. The major averages inched upwards on light trading volume as investors await the results of the midterm elections yesterday. Interest rates also remained in focus during the session as the FOMC is set to begin its two-day policy meeting today. On the data front, Labor Department's job openings and labor turnover survey revealed the number of job openings eased slightly in September from a record high in the prior month. All 11 S&P 500 sectors finished higher yesterday as industrials and material groups both climbed over 1%. Healthcare stocks also outperformed amid a flurry of earnings releases. Shares of CBS added 5.7% to $77.90. and Mylan surged 16.1% to 36.43 after both companies topped analyst projections. Meanwhile, Eli Lilly slipped 3.8% to $105.90 after the pharmaceutical giant revealed several key drugs had disappointing sales in the third quarter. Technology shares rebounded from Monday's weakness as IBM gained 2.5% to $123.12, and Apple advanced 1.1% to $203.77. Today, stocks are higher in early trading. The Dow is currently up 207 points to 25,842. The S&P 500 is up 25 points to 2780, and the Nasdaq is up 116 points to 7491. The major averages are advancing as investors react to yesterday's midterm elections. In widely expected, the Democratic Party took the House of Representatives while the GOP increased its hold in the U.S. Senate. On the data front, mortgage applications dipped 4% in the most recent week amid higher interest rates. A report due out at 2 p.m. today, Central Time, is anticipated to show that consumer credit eased to $15 billion in September from $20 billion in August. Healthcare shares are pacing gains early in the session with the group rallying 2%. United Health Group is climbing 3.3% to 272.16, boosting the Dow. Ambiomed is surging 8.3% to 422.27 following an analyst upgrade. Tech is also outperforming while financials and consumer staples are early laggards. In earnings, Humana is gaining 2.5% to $340.06 after reporting strong performance in its Medicare Advantage business. Michael Kors is sliding 14.6% to $49.04 after releasing disappointing same-store sales growth. Treasuries are mostly higher with the yield on the 10-year note down 4 basis points to yield 3.18%. In commodities, WTI crude is adding 0.5% to $62.53 a barrel, and gold is up 0.2% to $1,228 an ounce. Life has a way of throwing unexpected events and new opportunities our way. When your life goals change with time or fluctuating market conditions, throw your plan off course, Wells Fargo Advisors investment planning process offers the flexibility to make the adjustments you need to live the one life you have the best way you can. When life happens, we can help. In Coralville or Iowa City, you can call Daryl Courtney, Adam Haleska, Tad Stoley, or Corey Urian at 319-338-3799. That's 319-338-3799. You can also reach us toll-free at 866-217-2369 or stop by the office and see us at 501 12th Avenue, Suite 201 in Coralville. This is Corey Urian, a financial advisor with Wells Fargo Advisors, LLC, member SIPC. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Iowa City's news first, 24 hours a day at 1630 KCJJ.com. Powered by Lucky's Market at the Iowa City Marketplace.
AllHawkeyes.com.
Pat, did you notice the new little clock that we have here?
Yeah. Yep.
Looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a 12-inch clock.
Yeah, it's better than wasn't there a littler one?
It's even smaller.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that one. That's kind of similar to one I have in my office at home. Yeah. But it fell and chipped a piece of it.
Well, that isn't good.
Is that us or is that money?
Money just was on.
Well, money over there calling from the business line.
It's on.
So real money.
Yeah.
Someone wanting to make
Tommy got it.
Well, someone wanting to negotiate. Big deal with you.
Yeah.
Big advertising deal.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to be a part.
Can I get my political? Yeah, the Libertarians calling to get their political spots.
Oh, those are gone now, right? Those are gone.
Yeah,
are you going to miss them?
I'm going to miss the checks.
Yeah, they were good checks.
Yeah, they help, and they do. We didn't get the kind of checks that TV stations do.
Yeah, they get a lot.
But they still helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I heard a lot of them on.
Oh, yeah.
And the little 29-year-old girl won.
Well, yeah, Abby Finkenauer.
Yeah. Finkenauer.
It's personal.
That's
and Rod Blum he didn't go to his he was supposed to give a concession speech and go to his party.
He didn't do it.
No, he didn't do it.
That's like Jim Boeheim did. His hometown in New York did a Jim Boeheim day, and he didn't go. They had some they made the city kind of, when they give you the key to the city, sort of, and they did, and he didn't show up for it. At least that's what the story is. I've always found that kind of funny. So, speaking of basketball, we have a press conference today with Fran at 2, and we get to talk to Jordan Bohannon. And basically, from what I've been told, is he had a pretty severe hip pointer.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told, and I mean, those things can be.
They take a long time to heal sometimes.
Long time, and so it's just people were kind of thought Fran was a little cryptic the other day but I mean,
Fran was a little cryptic the other day.
Fran seemed a little concerned with his voice, but I mean, hip pointer, unless there's more to the story than just a hip pointer, and I haven't been told that, a hip pointer is what it is. It's not like a torn needle. I mean, but he did seem, for Fran's always upbeat and optimistic, but he just seemed a little, I mean, you've seen the video. He just seemed a little concerned.
He did. He really did. So, and if Fran's concerned, I am too.
When I watched UMKC last night playing Loyola, and no knock on Jordan, but I think Iowa could beat them without Jordan. Jordan, to me, is their most valuable player. Like if I said, if I had to list players 1 through 5 who they could least afford to lose, Jordan would be number 1, Tyler Cook would be number 2, Garza would be number 3. Those 3, and then after that it's debatable. But Jordan would be number 1 because he handles the ball most of the time, and because he's the most reliable shooter from beyond 10 feet.
Yep.
And they need, for Fran's offense to work, you have to have someone who can shoot beyond 10 feet. So, yeah, we'll talk to Jordan today. Wouldn't surprise me if he didn't play tomorrow. UMKC, I'm not knocking them, but they were trailing Loyola, which is a very good Loyola team, 40-18 at halftime. They're quick, athletic. They shoot a ton of threes. They run up and down. So, but I mean, they should not be any competition. Iowa's got that. Then they play Green Bay on Sunday, and then they go out east and have a tournament. Good teams, but not great teams. And did you watch any of Duke last night?
A little bit. And Jesus, God. Help us. Lord, save us.
I mean, what would Duke do to Iowa's defense right now?
Can you imagine having that kind of talent in an Iowa uniform? And I love the Hawkeyes. I've been watching Iowa basketball literally for 60 years, and I just can't even fathom.
I can also say with those guys, it wouldn't matter what kind of defense they played. I mean, they just win games 118-90 or whatever. It was incredible. I mean, Kentucky was just completely overwhelmed.
And weren't they ranked number 2?
Yeah, with those rankings.
Of course, I know. But
Kansas looks good. I mean,
but Kentucky is going to be in the top.
They are, but they've got issues, though. They're not this Duke team. I mean, those 3 freshmen, that kid from R.J. Barrett, or I believe his name is.
Didn't he have like 33 or something?
Well, between him and Zion Williamson and the third one, Radish, I mean, they're all 3 NBA top 5 picks ready to go. I mean, the Zion Williamson reminds me of Deontay Burton and Charles Barkley. You kind of combine them together. He's 6'7", 285 pounds with a 45-inch vertical jump. His jump vertical's 3 inches more than Noah Fant, whose vertical would have beaten all the. It's incredible how athletic that team is. And really, what was weird with Duke playing Kentucky, Mike Krzyzewski has replaced John Calipari as the master of the one and done.
Yeah,
he really has.
Yeah,
those are one and dones. He's had so many but for some reason Duke kind of gets a pass over Kentucky as far as reputation because Duke's considered more of a scholarly thing. But Krzyzewski's just thriving on this one and done thing, and as long as they keep the stupid rule in there, they
got to get rid of it.
It's just ridiculous because I don't think any of those 3 guys would be in college right now if they could go to the pros.
And they should be allowed to go to the pros.
I mean, it's costing them right now, each of them, probably $2-3 million. Because they would have been picked, and it's ridiculous. I mean, hey, you can't go play hoops, but hey, get that helmet on. It's time to go defend our country over. I mean, it's just there's no consistency with it. It's ridiculous.
Football, you got to play 2 years, right?
3.
Is it 3?
I don't mind football just for but then you could count. Okay, so you can't play football, but you can go fight in a war. Well, I mean, I get that, but football, your body, an 18-year-old kid going to the NFL, most can't. I just don't think they're ready to handle that. NBA is different. I mean, it's not a contact sport, even though it's a contact sport. But it's just it's a debate that's ongoing. But no, my jaw dropped when I watched Duke last night.
You just don't see college teams like that, and it's considering they're going to get better.
Well, then I watched Michigan State before, and right now Duke would destroy Michigan State. It's not even in the same league, and Michigan State's probably the class of the Big Ten.
I would say so.
I mean, Michigan State is what it is. I don't think he's got the talent, though, to make a serious run in the tournament. I really don't. I mean, now a lot can change. I mean, but I don't see this Duke team, barring injuries, all of a sudden just becoming bad. I
wouldn't think so.
And Krzyzewski's a good coach, obviously. They're too gifted physically to become really bad.
It was boys against men.
It was incredible. I mean, it just was, and it never ended.
No.
It just never ended. They just kept. I mean, there's times you look up and Zion Williamson's making a 3, or there's another time where he's dribbling the ball at the top of the key. He takes 2 dribbles and just goes right through man-to-man defense to the basket. It was incredible. And so, but we'll see. We got Iowa, UMKC tomorrow night, and
or Duke, Kentucky.
No, a little different stratosphere.
Yes, it is. Well, you know what? I'm cool with that too. But what do you want to look for tomorrow night in the Hawkeye team?
Well, of course, I'll watch defense because what I've seen enough of UMKC last night to know they're quick. So it's going to be interesting to see how Iowa, who's not very quick at hardly any position, how they compensate for the quickness. Have they learned to play better together? Have they learned to communicate? Have they learned to – because one thing that's kind of – I don't know if people think this, but, yeah, they've been supposedly working on defense all during – that doesn't mean that Jordan Bohannon moves laterally quicker than he did 6 months ago. This is going to be more of a team concept thing and breakdown, communicating, linking together on defense, helping on defense at the right times, as opposed to, wow, look at how much quicker Jack Nungy is moving back and forth.
Right.
That's not the case. This is more of a strategy and an approach than just – I'm sure they worked on lateral quickness. I know Jordan said he was working on that. So at the – worst, they're not any slower than they were last year because I think they did focus on those types of things. But this has to be a strategy and an approach and a mindset more than anything.
And isn't part of that anticipation too?
I mean,
you have to
all that stuff. But I think what happened was it finally caught up with Fran. He's never made defense a priority, and he admitted that.
Yes, he did.
He admitted that.
Hats off to him.
And I say hats off to him. He didn't make an excuse. He just says my philosophy's always been this, and you have to give Fran credit because it's worked everywhere he's been. And right now the jury is getting back out again. I mean, ESPN or Athlon's had him on the hot seat with Alford and Greg Lansing. Fran's seat is not hot yet. It will be hot with another losing season.
I agree.
It will be hot, and it'll start to warm up every year they don't make the NCAA tournament. They're going on 2. A couple of people were asking me last night on Twitter, 2-3 years, if he just has a winning record in the next 2 or 3 years, he'll be fine. That's not enough. You can't go 4 and 5 years in this day and age with not making the NCAA tournament.
No.
Name the last Iowa coach to do that. To go 4 or 5 years without making the NCAA tournament.
I can't.
Dick Schultz.
Oh, well, back then, but there were so many fewer teams.
But I'm just saying, though, name and what happened to him.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Lute Olson came and rebuilt. Tom Davis, 9 of 13. So Davis went to the tournament more time. Now, in fairness to Fran, you can't compare. I still don't think we're deep enough in Fran's, because to me, Davis got those first 2 or 3 years with Raveling's talent, a lot of it. Fran had to take those first 2 or 3 years and clean up Licklider's mess. So it's a little hard. To me, Fran's window is still, or his body of work to me still works for him because I give him the benefit of the doubt for year 2. But
I agree.
And he's been to the tournament 6 out of 8 years. So that's why, to me, the seat's not warm. Everyone's like, well, it's the contract. Well, I mean, that plays
then you
part.
talk about Gary Barta instead of course.
But the main thing is the body of work still works to Fran's advantage.
Agreed.
But he's got to get back to the tournament. If he doesn't make the NCAAs this year, that's 3 years in a row. That's a problem.
I agree. Do we have a call, Steve?
No.
I thought we had a call.
I did too.
But I get so sick of people,
Wasn't the phone ringing?
Yeah, but we got 4 lines.
Oh, wow. You guys are
we're fancy.
You guys are rocking. Secret agent, man.
It's just like, well, it's the contract. And Jesus,
the contract plays a part in it.
It does, but, I think most people that bring it up are just freaking jealous that you got these people making this money and they got a contract.
I don't know about that. I think some are just unreasonable fans that just don't refuse to look at it any way besides, well, we haven't been very good right now, get rid of him. I think that's part, but there may be some.
It's a knee-jerk.
But I think part of it is knee-jerk. But let's face it, last year was pretty bad. I mean, last year was pretty bad, and they didn't make the tournament prior to that. Yeah. I mean, Dr. Tom never went back-to-back years, I don't believe, without making the NCAA tournament. He may have. I'm trying to think.
Or without making one of the two.
Well, no, I'm talking about without making the NCAA. I'm trying to think. 92, 93, 94, he did. No, he did. 94, 95, he did. It's the worst couple years. But for the most part, he made Fran's 3 of 8 right now. That's where he is as far as making the NCAA tournament. But like I said before, I give him a little bit of those first couple of years benefit of the doubt because it was such a mess when he got here. But they got to win this year. But no, I'll be looking tomorrow to see how they play help defense and to see how they handle quick teams. Because last year, you remember, quick teams,
They ate us up.
they would just get past the first line of defense, which was either Bohannon or what have you, and then it was 5-on-4, and then everything would break down. I'll be looking for stuff like that.
So I guess going back to the first game, and granted it was against a miserable team, and so my biggest concern there was the amount of turnovers. I think
Connor
we
had 4.
18, yeah.
Connor had 4. Yeah, no, there were some turnovers, some lazy passes.
Yeah.
I think
that you just said it, lazy passes.
But I think, though, the competition was so bad, I think they relaxed a little bit and got a little complacent. I'm going to give them the benefit. I'm telling you, the first guard off the bench looked like Eddie Vedder. And then what'd you say the other guy had, a honey bun?
A man bun.
A man bun. A honey bun. No, you eat those, don't you?
Yes.
You don't eat man.
You do not eat man buns.
He had a man bun. And then they had a guy who looked like the bass player for Leonard Skinner, but he was 6'10". The guy with hair down to his butt, what'd you think of him?
A hell of a player.
It was truly like back at college waiting for, hey, we got next.
No, it did. It reminded me of like a YMCA.
We got next. I think we can be, as long as you get that Iowa team
right.
out of here. Yeah, it was. But what it also does is it shows you the amazing difference between the human body, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because that team could have the greatest coach in the world. It could prepare forever. The Iowa players could all be limited to 1 hour sleep, and that team would still never have any chance physically to compete.
No.
That's how bad that team was.
And in the long-range scheme of things against, 5 normal people, that team that we beat by 50-some points would beat teams by 50 or 60 points.
That team would own the Drake Intramural League. Seriously, that team would be naming scores. And that man in the man bun would be talking crap anyway.
So I think, as a coach, you want to hold the team under 50 points, and you want to score over 100, and they did. So let's take that. And so you think somebody like UMKC, you want to see a 20 to 30-point victory?
Yeah, I do, and I don't want to get too much into the points. I just want to see them handle quickness on the court. And like I said, they've got some quick guys. They're not a very good team, but they've got some quick guys, and Iowa just looked helpless against quickness last year.
We did, and we lose Jordan. That's another guard not on the court. So you've got Moss, you've got Connor, you've got. God,
I'm drawing a blank. Who else do you got? Because Frederick.
Wieskamp can play the 2.
He can, but he's better at the 3.
I agree.
He's better at the 3, but we're missing. Who are we missing? God, maybe we're not. We're really not missing anyone.
We're not.
No, I guess we're not.
Because C.J. Frederick's not playing.
And Nicholas Baer is a forward. He's not a shooting guard. There was talk that maybe he could do that, but no, there's not a.
Would Ash be would be the 4th guard then tomorrow?
I would think so. Yeah. I will say one thing about him: if you leave him open, he's going to make a 3.
Yeah.
He takes a little while to get the shot off, but he made a 3 the other. I loved his reaction. He showed a little passion, and that's what this team needs. But I wonder what Fran would have done if I would have asked him, hey, have you ever coached against a team with a player who has a man bun? What do you think, Fran?
Pat, I don't think about things like that.
That's right. The guy had a man bun, Captain. But the other guy did look like Eddie Vedder. And Eddie Vedder's like 5'9", and I think he was taller than this guy. And they had another guy that kind of resembled a little taller and a little more athletic John Licklider.
Yeah?
They did. And I said
Little Lick?
He was not Little Lick, but
Lick.
He had a little bit of Little Lick.
Medium-sized Lick.
Big baggy shorts and just not much quickness. There was a couple times.
Okay.
A couple of guys tried to get shots off of them.
All right, you weren't impressed with Guilford. Okay, we got it.
Guilford College. No, I was not.
Nor I.
And I'm not going to be impressed with UMKC, but like I said, the quickness thing will be interesting to see how they handle that. And as far as football, still don't have a feeling yet. Winner.
I don't either.
My 8-4 that I did back in August had Iowa losing these 3 games. I had them losing to Penn State, I had them losing to Purdue, and I had them losing to Northwestern, and I had them losing to Iowa State, but beating Wisconsin.
I had us winning Northwestern, but I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Well, the one that really concerns me is what was the final between Northwestern and Michigan? Do we remember? I forgot how competitive that. I guess It was really competitive.
Wasn't it like 20-17?
It was. That's the one where
I think it was.
I'm just worried that team's going to show up, that Northwestern team, because let's face it, Michigan's better than Iowa. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Northwestern almost beat them. And was it there? Was it in Michigan? I wish I had.
That I'm not sure.
Somebody Google Northwestern Michigan football 2018, because that game concerns me. Because to me, that's Michigan. That's Northwestern's best game of the year. Because that shows that their defense is not that Michigan's got a great offense, but this Michigan
they don't,
team,
but they have a competent offense.
Yeah, I'd say right now, Shea Fitzpatrick.
2017 Michigan.
That concerns me. That game right there concerns me more than anything. I'm going to have to go back and research that game a little bit and see what they did.
It was at Northwestern.
It was at Northwestern. Okay, that explains it a little bit, and that, of course, is the advantage. I like Iowa's chance. I just think this team is ready to have a breakout performance. And I wrote this yesterday. I feel that even more after talking to Parker Hesse. I just think this team has too much good stuff to unravel.
I remember it now because I watched part of this. At one point, Northwestern was ahead 17-0.
That's right.
I had forgotten that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
See that concerns me because that shows you how good this team is, and so we'll see if that team shows up. Iowa's going to have to play lights out to win this game. Because Northwestern's playing for a lot more than Iowa is.
A lot more. I think, if I recall again, I think there were some turnovers. Michigan made some mistakes. Northwestern took advantage of them. And then Shea Patterson threw for 196 yards, I think.
Which is not a ton.
No.
That's not a ton.
Karan Higdon, 30 for 115.
So that's an average of less than 4 yards per carry.
Right.
They took the wind out of Saturday's forecast, too.
Good.
Okay. Why? Was there supposed to be a lot of wind?
At one point this week, yeah.
But it's going to be cold, though. Isn't the high only going to be in the 30s?
Yeah, 30, 33, 34.
Ah, it's
check WeatherBug.
It'll be cold.
I guess I don't have to medicate the dog for this month.
WeatherBug says 31.
Oof.
So I imagine that I'm going to be going. I imagine.
So what do you mean?
Well, Ann had her surgery.
Oh, how's she doing?
Oh, she's doing real well. But
she won't obviously be going.
No.
How long is she laid up?
Well, she can get around the house with the walker.
That's how my mom does it.
But, yeah. Well, it's, Ann's only 60, and she's in good physical shape.
That will help.
Outside of that, it does.
Yeah.
But, you think that people with knee replacement, joint replacements are... At least I think they're much older people, and they're not necessarily.
So how did she ever... Is this from dancing on stage all the time with landslide?
I think that's part of it. And and the rest, I'm sure there's some family physiology involved.
Did she really get into it with landslide? Was she out there?
She's a great dancer.
Yeah, and when you get on the stage, those stages are going up and down and shaking all the time. It's rough on you. It really is rough on you.
It is.
And I don't understand why they don't make better stages. There were some acts when I was doing the boys' bandstand. They specified that the stage had to be stationary or it had to be built up with bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually, the tour bus in the back had cement blocks to put under the stage, where they were going to stand to firm it up. That's a simple thing to do, but nobody really. They did it because they're in their 60s now.
Did you ever play on any stages where you're like, whoa, we better be careful?
Sure.
Really?
Absolutely. And then some big stages were just, oh my God, this is great. You have room to do whatever you want. It's great.
When I do introductions and stuff, I'd walk out, and
you could
you're just bouncing.
So if that
like
stage
you're on a
collapses,
trampoline sometimes.
If that stage collapses, you guys, who do you sue?
Well, we never had one collapse.
But you would have had the
Sugarland.
Who's insured?
Usually it's the venue. Because they're responsible, but I don't know.
So did you guys have insurance as a band? Did you guys all get health insurance? When you were a band?
No, in fact, my wife and I were probably one of the rare musicians who did have health insurance.
Oh, so
Hello?
you guys just paid for your own?
We did.
Was it super expensive back then?
Considering we didn't have a whole lot of money, it was a bite, but it was worth it. I mean,
Hello?
Well, the problem is that it's just the same reason why the pay for bands hasn't gone up in the last 40 years. The reason the stages are the way that they still are is because, as far as these venues are concerned, entertainers and bands are just tools to make them money.
yeah, that's true.
They don't care about the bands or the musicians that bring. As long as they bring in money, they don't
Well,
care.
that's why the musicians have to be smarter and their agents have to be smarter and specify. Yeah, well, like the guys, Frankie Avalon and these guys are, even when I did it, which was years ago, they were getting old, and
Right, but
you
they
have
do
to
look at
specify that it's got to be stable. It's got to be built up with bricks or with cement blocks.
Right. But the days of booking agencies are really kind of long gone.
Isn't that what you used to do, Tom?
For a time, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. But no,
But
most these days book themselves.
but the bottom line is you have to work,
Right.
and you got to pick your battles, and usually the stage isn't the battle that you pick.
what's the bad?
Right.
What's
And you
like?
were in a unique situation because you gig for a career, and you had an agent that booked you all around the country.
Right.
So that's where an agency comes in handy. But for the local guys around here, you're kind of hung out to dry most of the time.
Yeah. Well, we did that too, and yes.
Oh yeah.
And let me also say that just because we had an agent and a manager and a producer, it wasn't always grins and giggles.
It never is.
No, but
That's where the alcohol comes in, right?
You
Kevin?
do it because you love it,
That's exactly right.
and if you do it because you love it, then you can't go wrong.
Rubber tubing.
Rubber tubing.
Thanks.
Thanks, Nikki.
No, but
Is that Nikki Sixx?
Nikki Steichen.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's why a lot of these, that's why Tom Petty died. That's why Prince died.
Because of bad stages?
Well, it led them to debilitating pain.
Oh, I see where you're headed with
Yeah,
this.
it gave them,
Okay.
arthritis. It was hard on their joints. It was hard on their knees.
It's like 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon, isn't it? Sort of.
But
I see
but the
where
funny
you're
thing,
coming from.
but you don't think about that. But yeah, it's true. It really makes a big difference. And yeah, I have no doubt that Ann.
Well,
that contributed to Ann's condition in her knees very much.
Well,
so.
Prince, him doing all that crap on the stage and jumping constantly. Tom Petty wasn't as animated as Prince, but
how about
many dates?
How about Jerry Garcia? He barely breathed on stage.
Jerry Garcia would get up on the stage,
and he
would stabilize.
He moved less than a mannequin. I mean, sometimes you'd be like, "Is he? Yep, I saw. He just blinked." So, but no, it's well, yeah. Tell her we wish her well.
Oh, I sure will. And so I haven't. I would feel guilty to a point if I go to the game, but on the other hand,
it's a big game.
She wants me to go.
But it is a big game. But I've had some people say, "Well, it's not a big game. The season's over." You can't look at it that way.
Well, and I don't look at it that way.
You can't look. Alabama can look at it that way. If Alabama's 6-3, their fans have our season by our standards is over. But Iowa's not Alabama. No. This team still could go. And what's dangerous about this team could go 10-3. This team could go 6-7 if they're not careful.
That's true.
And we've seen it happen before. But what I think is with Parker Hesse and Keegan Render, and this is what I wrote about, I just think there's too much talent and character and leadership on this team for the season to unravel. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think there's a chance. This team, they could go 8-4 and win a bowl game, go 9-4. Very disappointing, but not a failure in my mind. But the season is already one of those could have, should has, what ifs.
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree? It's already that.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't have to be. It could still be a 10-3 season. And don't tell me that's a failure.
10-3 for Iowa is always an excellent season.
I agree.
Period.
And I don't care what people say. Oh, well, we threw it away. Well, 10-3 is. I mean, Hayden Fry became a legend with a couple seasons like that. You know, I mean, you got to keep it in perspective.
That's right. And am I disappointed that we're probably not going to win the West? Of course. But not half as disappointed as the players and the coaches are.
And part of the disappointment is because of the circumstances. The West is as vulnerable as it's been, but we also have a 5-1 Northwestern team. I don't think Northwestern is a lights-out 8-1 team. Wisconsin's had some teams that went 8-1 that were really, really good.
We're lights-out football teams.
This Northwestern team, to me, plus they've lost their best running back. I mean, they've been without their best running back for most of the season. So, no, this was a year it was there for the taking, and for some reason, a team that we became convinced was capable of taking it just hasn't. It just has not happened. And
it's been close.
It's been close, and they've lost with special teams, defense, and offense. So it's been across the board. It's been close and frustrating. But to suggest that the season is over, I just can't go there yet.
Ridiculous.
I mean, if they went out and go 9-3, I mean, they're going to go to a nice bowl game. And they're going to have a chance to have another. That would be another double-digit win season for Kirk. And to me, that's not failure.
No.
So,
not
what do you think, Captain?
No, I think I'm so sick of that. The season's over. Well,
there's been a lot of that. I'm sure there's been
a ton of it.
A lot of that after.
A ton of it. And I mean, within moments after the game,
well, just because you can't win a championship doesn't mean that it doesn't matter anymore. Because
I don't know what people want. I'm different than probably you and everything. I like going to the games. I like seeing. I want them to win and everything.
Of course.
But every freaking game means something to me, and to be in Kinnick means something to me, and you take all the freaking joy out of it.
Well, it's
when
two
you
things.
Start harping about fire this.
It's prisoner of the moment combined with social media.
Yeah.
We've always had prisoner of the moment, but there wasn't ways to vent other than to talk to the person next to you.
That's right.
Some people would write letters to the editor, but or call radio, but there wasn't much talk radio 30, 40 years ago.
No.
Things are different now. You can just vent everything, and so we're seeing all that, and that's just the way it is. Everything's bad now, but like I brought up the other day, and I wrote this is going to be the 35th time out of the last 40 years under Kirk and Hayden that Iowa hasn't won a conference title. 35 out of 40. So, in other words, they won 5 out of 40 conference titles. So it's not like this is
a terrible backslide.
This is life as Iowa football. That's all I'm saying. Hello, You're on the auction.
Hey, I just turned on your show. I try to listen to when I'm in my vehicle, and I just got in a few minutes ago. But here's the frustration. I think a lot of Hawk fans, and maybe you've already touched on this, is just sometimes the way that we lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's basically it.
So, okay, so what?
For me, though, there's a couple other things. It's like I wish sometimes we would blitz, and I understand that, they don't do that.
Oh, yes, we do. We have.
I mean, I don't know how we can put pressure on if the front four doesn't put that pressure on that quarterback, good Lord, everybody after that is completely stressed.
I will say, though, as far as the blitzing, though, I think they were concerned because Phil Parker has blitzed. He does it way more than Norm.
I've seen it more this year.
No, but
I think did we blitz it all in the last game?
Well, you can't because he gets the ball out too fast.
That and he gets it out to what are kind of like running backs in space to these receivers. It's impossible to blitz against Purdue because he throws so many just 3 to 10 yard passes. It will do no good, and that's going to be one less linebacker there to try to tackle Rondale Moore when they throw. Purdue threw a lot of passes. It was like Greg Davis offense.
I mean, you can't get to the quarterback. You can't get to the quarterback because the ball's gone.
That begs the question then. Other teams are always blitzing us.
Well, because Iowa's not Purdue. Iowa is a team to blitz because Iowa plays a pro-style offense.
I suppose.
Iowa also has an immobile quarterback. I mean, I think it's obvious now when people play, they want to put pressure on Nate Stanley.
Absolutely.
Because they know he can't run, doesn't want to run, and doesn't. That's it. And to me, Iowa is a team that says blitz me. I mean, if I'm defense against Iowa, I'm going to blitz. Yeah, and I don't know how you change that right now, but they've also shown that they can burn teams that blitz them at times too when they're operating. To me, it all starts with being able to run the ball and average 4.5 to 5 yards a carry. When they don't do that,
well, and that's true, and we're not doing that.
No, that's been the rushing attack has been. I've written about it a couple of times. The rushing attack has just been uninspiring again.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, and I've said this before, and I'm not sure if I think Iowa's offensive line and rushing attack is probably the most overrated thing in the Kirk Ferentz era. In the Kirk Ferentz time era.
Isn't that amazing? Because that's what you hear him talk about. Not too much now, but, a couple of years ago, that's what we heard.
Well, yeah, they won the Joe Moore Award, and I'm not criticizing the offensive line and saying it's a weakness, but when you think of Hawkeye football under Kirk Ferentz, you immediately think of offensive line because that's what he coached, and rarely are they really good. They're sometimes.
But you always have one or two guys that on the team that end up in the pros.
Yeah,
but your other guys don't.
That really doesn't. All that says is they develop guys good individually.
That's right.
It has nothing really to do with the fact that they rarely consist. They're nothing like Wisconsin when it comes to running the ball. No, and a lot of these games where they end up losing, it starts there. Because then Nate Stanley needs play action. But as far as the blitz, I think against Purdue, it just couldn't happen. It's going to be tough to blitz this guy, too, because he's starting to run a little bit more. And Northwestern.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. I made a prediction. I mean, I'm a big Hawk fan. I'm not a big on pro sports, so what else do I have here? I'm a Hawk fan all the way through, but I've already saying I think they're probably going to get beat.
I hope
just
you're
the way
wrong.
They've been playing.
I hope you're wrong, but like I said,
hope they don't.
No, I know where you're coming from.
I'm not seeing anything to tell me anything different right now. But you know what? God, I hope they do win.
Well, we did score 36 points, which is going to win you a whole lot of football games in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now, I could counter by saying the team that we play Saturday won at Purdue. Northwestern won at Purdue in the season opener.
There's plenty of counters here, sure.
So, yeah, I'm with you, caller. I hope they win for selfish reasons, business, personal, everything. It's better for business when Iowa wins. And I picked them to lose this game in August. And like I said, I'm going back and forth with this. I just don't see Northwestern going 8-1. I keep saying the same thing, and I don't see them losing to Minnesota or Illinois, so they're going to have to lose to somebody. All that's left is Iowa. That's part of my argument right now, because sometimes I think the law of averages and percentages do work to your advantage, and plus I think it's going to help Iowa playing at home. I hope a good crowd shows up. What do you think?
Oh, this is a home game for us.
Yes.
That's great. Well,
that makes a big difference.
That would be better.
So what kind of but no, you're totally justified in feeling the way you do. I mean, you're a Hawk fan, but you're not real confident right now. This team's 1-6 in its last games decided by, I believe, 7 points.
Well, I'm just looking at the games that we've won. I mean, you can say that Iowa State was a quality win, but I'm kind of thinking that if Iowa State came in here, they would beat us.
Well, luckily you don't have to worry about that now, so now it stays a quality win.
We don't have to worry about that. That's right.
But no, they do. Iowa State. Go ahead.
Not to change the subject, but I mean, go to a different sport. But were you able to watch any of the Iowa basketball, like men's?
Yeah, I covered the first game. Yep, and I
mean, did you see anything at all? Because I mean, Guilford. I mean.
No, there was. Did I see anything? I mean, Joe Wieskamp's going to be good. I mean, he could have been playing against air, and I could have told you that. Joe Wieskamp's going to help them. He's going to, but I figured he would, so that was not a surprise. The other team was so bad that you can't make any assessment on what Iowa's going to do defensively. Not yet.
What do we have? 5 guys in double figures?
6. You'll be able to start seeing more. The team tomorrow night, Missouri, Kansas City, is quick. They're not very good, but they're quick, so you'll be able to see how. One of Iowa's biggest problems last year was handling quickness, so we'll see.
Handling quickness, you're absolutely right.
So you'll be able to start getting a kind of a read on that to see what they're doing, if they're doing anything different. Hopefully it's not one of these where a guy, if Bohannon plays, just drives right by him, and then the defense just falls apart. So that's kind of what I'll be looking for tomorrow.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Luka was playing. I didn't know if he was going to play this early in the season.
Well, he said he was, and they've been pretty consistent with that, and I was surprised too, but sounds like the surgery went well, and thank God for good doctors. And
did
he look thin?
Yeah,
he looked gassed.
He looked gassed, but he still had double figures, and he looked like Luka. He's still very skilled offensively near the basket. He just has to get in better shape.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though. I miss the days when you could watch every Iowa basketball ball game on TV.
We lament about
Now
that
half of
often.
them are online, and I'm not a big fan of watching on my computer.
And they're on
Couldn't agree more.
Nope, we're with you. Thursdays and Saturdays.
Hey, great show.
All right, thank you.
Thank you
Yep.
so much for your input. Yeah, I agree. I hate watching on my computer.
Whatever happened to Thursdays and Saturdays and 1:05 p.m. football?
Which is to say, last night I did watch some basketball on my computer. But
not on my computer.
because Ann and Amy were watching in our bedroom, and I didn't want to go downstairs. So
Why didn't you want to go downstairs?
didn't feel like it.
Where's Wopsy during all this?
Wopsy was curled up on her pillow.
Aw, Wopsy. Hey, that little black cat that you showed on, that looked like the cat we rescued, but it was probably, how old was that cat? Because the cat we rescued that was 3 weeks ago.
How old was the cat, Tommy? 7 weeks.
I wonder if that's the cat that
Might be the cat.
we rescued from the
Yeah.
bush, because it was a little black cat. And
it got upset when I didn't play any music during the segment.
Well, I would think so, because that cat for 3 days, I was serenaded it, not realizing there was a cat down there in the bush. That cat's now a huge town. Oh, and I was going to ask, you think Gigi Allen cared about his stage? Seriously, you really think?
He built up the stage, but you don't know what he put under it.
You think Gigi Allen cared about it?
I would say blocks of frozen excrement.
Which is a great band. Hello.
No, that was a Floyd album.
Life was
That's what I'd call
Gigi
my...
Allen's stage.
What was that?
Life
Yep.
was Gigi Allen's stage.
I agree, because poop is a part of life.
It is.
I mean, it really is. I mean, think about it.
That could be a good autobiography.
Poop is a part of life?
My poop is a part of life.
Well, Taro Gomi wrote a very popular children's book, All Living Things Eat, so everyone poops.
Yeah, great REM song.
Why does
Everyone
this topic have to come up
poops.
when I call in?
I'm not
Who
sure
knows?
why. That song, I do not like that song by R.E.M. R.E.M. was starting to get on my nerves by the time that they were.
They didn't do that much for
Remember
me.
Monster? What's your frequency, Kenneth?
That was a
Stupid.
great
Hell
song.
was going on
Stupid.
with that?
There's some great guitar in that song.
Yeah, and the other thing I was thinking, David, the song that sometimes makes me just go insane is Guinevere.
Really?
I don't know what it is about that song, but there's times where it just drives. There's times where I like it because I love Crosby, Stills.
Oh, God, I'm
but
just the
there's
opposite.
times where that song just makes me want to grab a spear instead of Guinevere.
I could never figure out that song because it's in such a strange tuning on the string. And I actually am friends with David Crosby on Twitter, and I asked him the tuning.
Let's get
and
him
he
on.
told me, and that song fascinates me. It's just
It's beautiful in
It
concert.
is.
Why don't you get
It's
him
just
on?
amazing.
Why don't you get him on, and then we can tease him, and I want to know why he had the combo package.
Tommy can talk to him about their liver transplants and stuff.
Then we could talk about the multiple drugs and gun combo package
could.
that he had.
And
during
ask him what he thinks of Gigi Allen.
You think he's heard of Gigi Allen?
Well, everybody...
He would not be supportive.
I ate breakfast at a table right next to David Crosby and his girlfriend in Indianapolis during Farm Aid back in, what was it, 92?
Yeah.
Was he wasted? Did he have a gun?
No,
on
he
him?
was really polite, friendly. It was in the, what's the name of that hotel? The Canterbury, I think it was called. The same hotel where Mike Tyson did his dirty deed with that young lady. But obviously not at the same time. No, David Crosby was very nice. In fact, at that same time, the night before, in the hotel bar, I stood elbow to elbow at the bar with Graham Nash, and we both smoked cigars out of the humidor there on the bar top. And
wow.
He too was very, very down to earth, very friendly.
What was in that humidor?
Cigars.
Oh,
I
really
ran
nice
into him
cigars.
in Dusseldorf when I was visiting my brother, and he was just on the street with a Fender amp.
playing because he's worth about $80 million, so he doesn't. Need,
yeah, just play. And I
were people throwing money into a cup?
I said to Jan, Jan, I said that sounds like Graham Nash. He was doing Military Madness.
But I had a sign that said $100 or higher, please.
Yeah.
Hey, back to the Hawkeyes for a second. I don't know if you guys have mentioned this, but this weekend, the Hawkeyes are going to be wearing special helmets with both a red, white, and blue Tiger Hawk on one side of the helmet, and then the other side is going to be paying tribute to Niall Kinnick with the number 24.
Yeah, they announced that at the press conference yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's. I've seen pictures of it, and
well, there was talk. I guess there was a bunch of talk about alternate uniforms, but that.
Is this a blackout also?
It's a blackout, yeah. But there was also.
It is?
Yeah, it's a blackout, and there was also talk about alternate uniforms, but that I think that was the media created.
That's been squashed.
Yeah, it was never. I mean, Kirk basically said it was never really discussed. I mean, I think that was more certain. Some people in the media were pushing for that, and that's one of those things. And I know people will disagree. I couldn't care less about alternate uniforms. I just think that's the most overhyped.
Nope.
But I
don't care.
I tweeted that yesterday, and a couple of people came right back to me and said it's great for the recruits. ESPN.
The kids do seem to like them.
But, yeah, they do.
And how's that worked out for us?
Well, they beat Ohio State with them.
Yeah?
Well, they're actually.
I meant recruit.
Oh, well. It depends. I mean.
Some good, some bad.
They don't get everybody, but they get, do you think they're going to keep just the kid from Ohio?
Hope so. Justin Jacobs.
Yeah, that's a tough one. He hasn't really been responding to anyone. Well,
he's ours until he's not.
Well,
right?
It's obvious he's kind of a fallback for Ohio State, so maybe that will work to Iowa's advantage. They can say we've been with you since the beginning,
Yeah. So it's a blackout Saturday.
Yep.
You've got the Veterans Tribute with the red, white, and blue Tiger Hawk, and then a Niall Kinnick tribute.
And then purple pom-poms, right?
Isn't that
purple, white and purple pom-poms.
Purple haze when the Hawks come out.
No, when Northwestern comes out.
No, we're wearing special purple uniforms. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Quinn early interview earlier this morning.
Yeah, no, it was very engaging.
Speaking of Niall Kinnick, there's a local gentleman named Mark Wilson who has recently written and released a book about Niall Kinnick, which he has researched for years.
I've known Mark my entire life, actually since I was 4 years old.
To know him your entire life, like the moment you were born, you guys were like...
Not quite, but since I was 4.
Okay, 4,
yeah.
Wow.
He's a fascinating individual, not just a diehard Hawk fan, but he's got an incredible, remarkable collection of Hawkeye memorabilia. But he has done some really incredible, thorough research on Niall Kinnick and found a lot of inspiration from him in researching and writing this book. And he spoke to a luncheon group that I attended on Monday, and he would be I think a fascinating interview for you and the audience here someday when it fits. But really a good book.
Well, I can
and
sure
it's
get
easy
it.
read. It's really just taking daily. The focus of the book is now Kinnick's diary.
Well, we could actually not do it on YouTube, and we could play Diary, the song, throughout the show. I found your diary underneath the tree.
I was already feeling bad enough today. You didn't have to bring that.
I'll start singing that song.
No, you just did.
I just did. It's beautiful.
Have you mentioned the Hawkeye women's game last
yes.
night?
Oh, the exhibition? No. We did not. They won big.
Yeah.
And nobody got hurt.
Mark Cook's daughter got to play some significant minutes and scored quite a bit.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Lisa brought her up at Media Day saying that she could help them. Now, you don't want to read too much into an exhibition game. But no, I think Logan's going to be able to help them a little bit with their versatility at both forward positions, but they just got to make sure they're a very fragile team.
Yeah. Think if something happened to Megan Gustin.
God forbid that. But Kathleen Doyle's out for over a month, and Tania Davis is just still kind of walking that mental knee injury tightrope thing. So they've got a chance to be really good, but you just got to keep your fingers crossed that they can stay healthy.
And they've got their first real game this Friday against Oral Roberts.
Yeah, this is a busy week. This is the busiest week of the year. We had Wrestling Day on Wrestling Media Day Monday. This week is it's out of control, Captain.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
It's crazy.
The only thing we don't have is high school football, unfortunately, because we don't have any teams left. It's weird not having teams left at this day. We always have teams.
It is weird.
Isn't it weird?
We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, it's just weird.
I don't remember when we did it.
Because usually the discussion is who are we going to carry?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And, Regina has been in the state title game 8 straight years.
I know. Yeah, it's just just a weird.
I don't remember this ever happening since I've been here.
I was saying that the other day to Richard, too. I can't remember just in all my time at the Press Citizen, too, just where we just don't have any teams we're in the semis. We're not, no, it's just, It's unusual, but it also shows you how good the sports are around here.
Well, West Liberty's the only one.
Yeah, and see, we don't cover them with. We did for the Press Citizen. We don't cover them with your prep sports. But no, West Liberty. Good luck. They're kind of representing the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see them do well.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
It would.
I remember my son playing against them with Regina when I believe he was a freshman, and they had a girl playing on the team who was actually pretty tough and took a licking and dished out a few of her own. I don't know if she's still on the team. I think we would have heard about that by now. But
You see stories like that. I remember a Tipton team had a girl playing, and this Regina kid went out to block her, and she fell into the fetal position, sort of. It was different. That was a long time ago.
that had to be.
You mean because she got hit so hard?
Well, no, she didn't get hit. She kind of avoided it.
Oh.
Yeah, so which is a smart thing to do.
I fall into the fetal position here all the time.
You do that every day when you say.
On the 1st and the 15th.
Yeah.
Steve curls up like a slug behind his desk.
Yeah.
We gotta get going because
Yeah, I do too.
I'm going to
Thanks for
carry
taking
the.
call.
Thanks.
Thanks, Derek.
You're welcome.
We're going to carry the
Trump. You're going to fester in Trump because you're obsessed.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Is he obsessed with Trump?
Kinda.
No, in fact, I just got 3 people. How come you didn't, ran about the election and everything? What do I have to rant about?
I've had people ask me not to talk politics on our show.
And it's kind of the typical midterms. Things generally come back the other way, whichever.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
And he'll come out and say that it happened less under him because it did. The number, but I'm just telling you what he's going to say, and he's going to just focus on the 5 places he went. Without me, they would have lost. I'm the great. It's going to be all about him. And I'm somebody, and people right away if they hear me, oh, you're just another left. I'm not. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a Democrat.
I told Tom yesterday.
It's not the It's more the party of Trump now.
Did I not say yesterday? The damn thing's over, and I'm gonna. We're gonna do an uplifting, happy-go-lucky show like we do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not coming in here and ranting.
It just would be nice to go.
People vote, and that's how they vote.
It would just be nice to go like a month where Washington D.C. is not the story every day. I mean, with Obama, you would go stretches.
So we didn't talk about politics hardly at all when Obama was president. It just didn't even come up.
No.
And now, but you got to give.
And
Trump,
really, I was on during Bush, and it didn't really
not as
come
much.
up. No.
Now it's just an everyday. It's just nonstop, 24/7.
Yeah, so I didn't talk about it, and then people are, why would you talk about it?
But no, we appreciate Quinn Early coming on today.
We do.
This was went fast. I mean, we didn't have any calls today, but the ones we had were long and informative. Arduous. Well,
No.
I was going to say that word, and I'm like, that's not fair to our callers.
Well, Friday we'll be able to talk a little bit more about the basketball team because we'll have one more snapshot.
And I still may work on trying to get. I'm still working on the Willie Fleming thing. I'm not. I know he's back from Jamaica now, so I've got his number. I'll keep you updated on that one because I'm going to actually maybe use some help from somebody over at Iowa to kind of call him and just say this is what it is. So we'll see. I mean, we shall see because I always like having
people that are trying. I don't know. We don't set this on YouTube, but if you try to swear now on YouTube, it says that we've bounced it and we haven't done a damn thing. They just aren't having you swear in the chat room. So that has nothing to do with.
I don't like YouTube. I don't like YouTube.
Well, I love listening to music on YouTube.
Yeah, I do that. I'll do that, but hell, we can't even.
I can get lost. You listen to a song and then it gives you all the suggestions. I get lost.
I do that a lot. And now here, like I said, I can't even think music in my head.
Don't think music.
No, I'm not. I'm trying not to.
No.
Think lunch, Pat.
I'm hungry.
YouTube said.
What are you guys doing for lunch?
You can be like Gigi Allen and just cake yourself in feces.
Cake yourself in feces.
You.
That'd be a great name for a Gigi Allen album.
No, that would be.
Gigi Allen's greatest hits. Cake yourself in feces.
Well, I was thinking Gigi Allen's greatest. What's rhymes with hits?
Oh, guys.
We're done. We're done.
Bye.
1-800-800 1-800-800-ROSE.
1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country.
1-800-800-ROSE.
It's so easy. Just remember one number, 1-800-800-ROSE, your FTD florist.
1-800-800-ROSE.
Remember, over the years, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's Lock and E-Keys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys on the market today. Mike's Lock and E-Keys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, sidewinder, and remote-headed keys. If you've lost the keys to your car or simply need a duplicate, call 330-9185. Mike's Lock and E-Keys for Cars has the technology to keep you on the road. Call 330-9185 and schedule an appointment today.
Active Endeavors is your travel and adventure store. Since 1986, their experts have been outfitting travelers with great apparel and equipment from Patagonia, Eagle Creek, Osprey, and more. And with winter coming sooner than you think, check out their wide variety of coats, boots, and winter clothing from Patagonia, Arc'teryx, Smart Wool, Icebreaker, Sorrel, and Keen. Everything you need at competitive prices.